You can't succeed alone. What it say? You run faster by yourself, but you run farther in a group.
Previously on Jimmy Talks Real Estate.
You stay in touch and we work well together. We work through multiple projects now, and they know how I operate. They know what I expect. They know what I want. And so that's the other thing. They understand the essence of who I am.
Sounds like point number 2 that you've been saying here is to make sure that you're building a team and understand that you're a part of the team.
You can't succeed alone. What it say? You run faster by yourself, but you run farther in a group.
Yeah.
I think that's
that sounds about right.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. You run faster by yourself, but you run farther in a group. So building a team is important, and that goes back to going to these RIAs. They'll all know contractors who they can recommend, and getting referrals on contractors, especially if you're new, is key. If you don't have a family member or a good friend that's a contractor that does some certain things, you want to get referrals.
I love that. Sign me up.
And those referrals are recent in terms of the work that they've done, which most contractors today, have been working steadily through, so that won't be hard to do to find references for. But that's also important, because I know builders who I have builder buddies who are but they're super busy right now. But every now and again I can potentially peel off one of their guys in the slow season. Like there's one buddy of mine, we went to college together, and he's got a carpenter, a finished carpenter that's done work for me on off season. Guy's work is impeccable. He could build a house, but in the off season, he's working maybe 20, 30 hours a week. So he'll come out and, he'll hang cabinets for me. He'll put down my base and my shoe and hang my doors, and but he's used to that 10, 12, 14 hour day. So he can get stuff done very quickly and very efficiently. So even though I may be paying a little bit more, the level of efficiency is there. So instead of it taking the guy, 3-4 days, he can get it done in 1 or 2.
Wow.
Which, going back to that original point, less money out of your pocket. You can get it done faster.
The more I'm gonna make.
Yep.
So I guess we've hit 2 things. One, if anybody out there who is interested that they want to get in the flipping game, one, you need to squad up, get yourself to a RIA, start building a team, ask questions, get involved. That's one. Yeah. 2, going along with that theme, start building your team of contractors and whatnot. Because your team and the way you treat them, the relationships that you build with them are going to really determine how far you're going to go in this business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very true. Now, one of the things I want to kind of back up to, especially being in RIAs, there may be an opportunity for you to maybe partner on a project. That might not be a bad way to do. Okay. Either with money and sweat equity, or maybe just money. And that's a good way to learn as well. If they've got a seasoned investor out there, because I know there were some that were, had mentees, people that they were, teaching in the business, and they came and they brought money to the project, and then they worked it together, and they learned from there.
You two are going to work together.
Property investors, specifically real estate investors, really don't know how to value property. They don't. They just simply do not know how to value property the way banks do. Hey folks, how you guys doing today? Jimmy Roberts here, and after 30 years in the real estate business, over 20 years of that being in the appraisal business, the one thing that I know is for sure, the 5 biggest mistakes that real estate investors make that keep them from making big profits on their flips and in their investments in general. And I'm making that available to you. All you have to do is click the link below, and there you go. How can you tell who's the real deal and who's talking?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, so at the RIA groups, one of the things you could do is, a lot of times they may be talking about projects they worked on, but normally whoever the president or director of the RIA group is, that person knows the players. So that would be where I would start. Say, hey, who would be a good person for me to learn from? Because you can open it up when you stand up and introduce yourself. You can say, well, I'm looking to start this, but I want to learn. So coming to those meetings, sitting in and just learning for, a few meetings, but making people aware of who you are, what you're trying to do is key.
Amen.
So for me as a real estate agent, I guess to a certain degree, I may have had a leg up because my understanding of real estate was maybe a little bit more detailed than just a newbie off the street. But my background in terms of construction and remodel was next to nothing. So I did have to rely on good contractors that I had basically in my quiver to really guide me along. But I've learned as I went along. And then I did take the builder's class, so helping to learn code and stuff like that also helped as well. But you don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. But, if you really want to learn that kind of stuff, I mean, you could start with YouTube. Your local community college will have, a lot of times they'll have builders classes or, carpentry classes and things like that. But for me, people ask me, do I swing a hammer? My answer is unequivocally no. I don't.
Hammer time.
And I always say I point and pay. I can only work one project, but I can manage 100.
Okay.
So if you really want to get the real key is learn to be a good project manager. So you can manage multiple projects, but you can only be in one place at one time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It could be something else. And part of the project management part is there's software out there that you can use. I mean, for me right now, I hate to even admit it, but a lot of it's just in my head, because projects have a certain rhythm to them, right? And they have a certain flow.
Yeah.
They just do. They all have a certain flow to them. They all do. Right off the top of my head, I know that because I've done enough of them.
Sorry. The voices.
I got to tell you, you just hit me with a lot. There was a lot of information you just hit me with.
I'm sorry, man.
That's cool. But what's really cool though? And folks, this is what's really cool about Kevin. Every time we talk, period. And we don't always just talk about real estate, but somehow or another, real estate gets mixed up in there. And then we start talking about something else. Yeah. But he is a fount of knowledge. And again, this comes from his experience, his relationships that he's built, and his ability to get off his butt and get to it. I guess maybe it starts with that last one.